Hello, my name is Jay Kumar, and I'm a microbiology sophomore from Oklahoma City.
My name is Samantha Toth. I'm an International Security Studies and Economics senior from Warrenville, Illinois.
My name is Patrick Long. I'm a finance, accounting, and MIS junior from Oklahoma City.
My name is Barry Conrad. I'm a finance senior from Boulder, Colorado.
This semester, we have been led by Lucas Rice, industrial engineering junior from Fort Gibson, and we've been working with Dr. Lloyd Hildebrand, a lead ophthalmologist from the Dean McGee Eye Institute at the Health Sciences Center, and Ray Sanders, CEO of Giant Experiences. Our team's project represents, as has been said, a step for CCEW into a new territory, the territory of social entrepreneurship. In our business plan, we apply free market principles of commerce to solving a social issue, the issue of cataract blindness. Imagine something with me. Pretend you are the grandparent of the adorable little boy above me, and that one of your greatest joys comes from interacting with him on a daily basis. One day, however, you notice that you can't quite see his smiling face as well as you normally could. You shrug it off, however, and convince yourself that it's probably nothing. More time passes, however, and you can no longer deny that something is seriously wrong. More time passes, and ultimately, inevitably, you cannot see his face or anything else at all. You have become completely blind. This is the story of cataract blindness. And in the region we are dealing with, it is not the story of tens, hundreds, or thousands of people, but of 1 million people. This region is Sichuan Province of China, specifically the eastern portion of Sichuan, an area roughly the size of the state of Missouri. Imagine that. Take Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. Fill every seat with Sooner fans. Multiply the entire thing by 12. And that is the size of this problem. That is the size of this issue that our team is going to fix. Now, what exactly is a cataract? What is making all these people blind? To better understand that, let's first look at a normal human eye. Usually, light passes unhindered from the outside to the light-sensitive retina, the orange part at the back of the eye. However, on its path, light must pass through the clear lens at the front of the eye. This clear lens is made of protein, which, when denatures, creates a cloud, and it results in the obscured vision that we saw earlier. This denaturation of protein can result due to a number of factors, the single most important of which is the aging process. There are other accessory factors that can cause this protein denaturation, including increased UV exposure and nutritional deficiencies. If left untreated, a cataract can continue to develop until finally no light can pass through the eye. This is the cause of the total blindness we all experienced a few slides ago. The good news, however, is that cataracts are indeed curable. Among the available treatment options is a relatively simple 10 to 15 minute surgical procedure known as manual small incision cataract surgery, or M6 for short. In this relatively simple procedure, the surgeon goes in and manually removes the hardened and diseased lens and replaces it with a prosthetic known as an intraocular lens, or IOL for short. The problem in Sichuan is not necessarily that no treatment options exist. The problem is that patients are not getting the treatment they need. My friend Sam will tell you why.
Thank you, Jay. The 1 million people in Sichuan who suffer from cataract blindness are unable to get the treatment they need because of 3 main barriers to surgery. These are limited access to surgical facilities, a lack of qualified surgeons, and the high cost of existing cataract surgeries. Let's look at each of these barriers in more detail. Urban Sichuan is thoroughly modernized. Its capital city, Chengdu, is home to 2 large hospitals, West China University, which is the largest hospital in the world, as well as Sichuan Provincial People's Hospital. Both of these hospitals have state-of-the-art eye care facilities. Rural Sichuan, on the other hand, has limited eye care facilities, as well as a lack of affordable transportation, which means rural residents are unable to afford the transportation to the cities to get the treatment they need. This problem is exacerbated by the fact that over 80% of the population of Sichuan is located in these rural areas, meaning that the vast majority of cataract patients are unable to get the treatment they need. In addition, Sichuan suffers from a lack of qualified surgeons. In order to reduce the backlog of 1 million cataract patients by 2020, 125,000 surgeries must be performed each year. However, current surgeons are only performing about 30,000 surgeries each year. This results in a gap of over 95,000 surgeries, which must be performed annually if the backlog is to be reduced. This lack of surgeons is the result of the current training program in Sichuan. Although there are many ophthalmic residents, they are stuck in a 10-year program which is not standardized and non-transferable, meaning they are unable to complete their treatment at another hospital. As a result, there are very few qualified surgeons who can perform these cataract surgeries. Finally, the high cost of existing surgeries represents a barrier to many patients. Existing cataract surgeries cost anywhere from $500 to $700. This does not include the cost of other things that the patients might incur, including transportation to and from these urban regions. However, the annual income in rural Sichuan is only $635 a year in rural areas, making the existing surgeries cost prohibitive to many patients. I-CCEW has developed a sustainable business model which will eliminate each of these barriers to surgery. Under our model, surgeries will be accessible to patients. They will be performed by qualified surgeons at a price which the patients can afford. To explain more about our model, I'll hand it over to Patrick.
Thank you, Sam. Now that Sam has told you about the current barriers to surgery, as well as I-CCEW's solution, let's take a look at how I-CCEW breaks down the current barriers and makes surgeries accessible. First, I-CCEW will be placing eye care centers in the eastern part of rural Sichuan. The locations of these centers has been identified based on two criteria: population density and net per capita income. In the first quarter of 2012, I-CCEW will have one eye care center. Then we'll expand to a second one in the second quarter, and end year 2012 with 3 initial eye care centers. I-CCEW will be renting office space from county-level hospitals to use as its eye care centers. These centers will be placed with I-CCEW surgeons. And to make our centers even more accessible, we'll have buses to transport patients to their appointments. To help patients know about the I-CCEW brand, we'll partner with the local government, as well as 2 of the most renowned hospitals in Sichuan Province, SPPH and WCU. Now, let's take a look at how I-CCEW takes care of the lack of surgeon barrier. If you recall from Sam's section, the cause of this barrier is that the current training program is highly inefficient. Ophthalmic residents must complete the entire 10-year program to become fully trained ophthalmic surgeons and perform cataract surgery. I-CCEW, on the other hand, offers a highly efficient training program. I-CCEW is able to do this because one of its partners, Project Vision, has already a successful 90-day cataract surgery training program. Project Vision is a blindness elimination program based in Hong Kong. So, the plan is to have ophthalmic residents train at SPPH and WCU. Then, they'll come to I-CCEW to work for 2 years, after which they'll have the option to go back to SPPH or WCU to pursue full ophthalmic surgery training. As well, they'll be receiving a certificate of quality from the Dean McGee Eye Institute, signifying their excellent ability to do cataract surgery. This partnership with SPPH, WCU, and Project Vision will ensure that I-CCEW has a steady flow of competent cataract surgeons. Finally, let's take a look at how I-CCEW makes surgeries affordable. I-CCEW, compared to current hospitals, has many cost advantages. The first of these is per surgery salary incentive. I-CCEW will be paying its surgeons $15 per surgery as salary incentive instead of the $180 paid at current hospitals. And even though this per surgery salary incentive is lower than current hospitals, I-CCEW surgeons will still be compensated competitively because our surgeons perform at least 3,000 cataract surgeries a year versus the couple hundred that's performed at current hospitals. The second area where I-CCEW has a cost advantage is materials required to do cataract surgery. Current hospitals offers high-tech surgeries that require expensive medical equipment to perform, while I-CCEW offers low-tech M6 surgeries that only requires a few inexpensive tools to do. Third, I-CCEW has a cost advantage in the administrative expense area. Current hospitals' rich urban clients demand high-quality hospital amenities, so naturally, their costs are higher. Whereas I-CCEW, we offer more economical amenities that are still comfortable to keep our costs low. Finally, Current hospitals charge around $200 as part of their profit and miscellaneous expenses because their patients can afford at least $600 per cataract surgery. But I-China knows that our rural patients can only afford $69.85 or 11% of their annual income. So we'll cap our profit at $19.41 to make cataract surgeries affordable. Now that you understand how I-China breaks down the current barriers to surgery, I'll hand it over to Barry to tell you more about additional costs that I-China must consider, as well as our business growth model.
Thank you, Patrick. Now that you know that I-China can make a profit off of doing one cataract surgery, let's take a look at some of the startup costs associated with I-China that weren't factored into the profit analysis that Patrick just showed you. I-China will have 3 different size centers, which will be placed strategically based on the population density of the region that they're in. I-China will have a small center with a startup cost of $93,000, a medium center with a startup cost of $190,000, and finally, a large center with a startup cost of $280,000. We can see how the number of these centers grows in the future as we take a look at our growth model, which starts in 2012, our first year of operation, and continues to 2015, our final year of growth. In our first year, I-China will have 2 small centers, and will grow to 6 small centers by the end of 2015. In terms of medium centers, we will start with 1 medium center in 2012, and will grow to 7 medium centers by the end of 2015. Finally, I-China will have 1 large center in 2013, a second large center in 2014, bringing us to a grand total of 15 I-China centers by the end of 2015. So, now that we understand some of these costs, we can take a better look at the income I-China will be making. In our first year of operation, I-China will see a loss due to the fact that the startup cost of these centers outweighs the profit that we'll be making on the surgeries. However, as we move forward into the future, into 2013 and 14, I-China will begin to see some net income off of doing cataract surgeries. The net income made in those 2 years will be reinvested back into I-China so that we'll be able to continue to grow into 2015 and beyond. In 2015, 16, and the years following, I-China will see a positive income. That income will be reinvested into our partner county-level hospitals and will be pulled aside so that I-China can now afford to do free cataract surgeries to those residents in Sichuan that cannot afford our $70 cost. So, now that you know that we can be sustainable throughout our growth, let's take a look to see how long it will take us to perform 1 million cataract surgeries in Sichuan Province. Currently, in our current year, there are 1 million people in Sichuan who need to have cataract surgery performed. After I-China's first year of operation, we have completed about 40,000 surgeries. Moving on to 2015, I-China will have done about 300,000 surgeries. And finally, by the middle of 2019, with all 15 centers fully operational for at least 5 years, I-China will have completed the backlog of 1 million cataract surgeries. So, now that we see that we can get through the 1 million cataract surgeries, let's take a look at how one patient goes through the I-China process from blindness to sight. Most patients will hear about I-China through a family member who, in turn, will have heard of I-China through TV ads and flyers marketed by the local government. Once the family decides that they should have screening for their family member, I-China will provide transportation from their rural township to a county center where I-China doctors will be available to screen the patients. Once it is understood that patient does need a cataract surgery, I-China will schedule an appointment for that patient 1 month from their screening date. On their day of surgery, an I-China patient will be picked up and taken to one of 15 I-China centers, where their surgery will last only 10 to 15 minutes, and their cataract will be replaced with an intraocular lens. After the surgery is completed, a patient will be allowed to recover for about 3 hours, after which the patch will finally be removed from the patient's eye, and after years of blindness, they will once again be able to see. A month from their day of surgery, eye doctors will again meet with the patient and will see if the cataract surgery was successful. However, the greatest success that the patient sees comes from the fact that they will once again be able to interact with their family and friends. I-China has several steps that we need to do as we move forward into the future. The first of which is a summit. All of the people that I-China plans to partner with have already met 2 years ago and have dedicated themselves to the common goal of reducing cataracts in Sichuan Province. The I-China team has already created a business plan and we plan to present that plan to these partners in Chengdu in the upcoming summer. We'll implement a timeline for completion and hope to get I-CCEW on the ground by 2012. Furthermore, the I-CCEW team will continue to pursue funding. We have determined that it will take around $470,000 in initial funding to start up our project. Project Vision, one of our partners, has already agreed to donate $260,000 for the startup of our first 2 centers. That leaves us with $210,000 remaining. We will seek charitable investors for the $210,000. One of the things that we're most excited about is a meeting that we have this Thursday with Hewlett-Packard in their Asia branch through video conference, where we'll discuss a possible partnership and possible donations as we move forward into the future. As the I-CCEW team has shown you, we have a comprehensive business plan that's able to tackle the 1 million people in Sichuan Province who have cataracts. However, our business plan, when tweaked the right way, can be implemented in many of the other provinces within China, but not just China. There are millions and millions of people across the world who suffer from curable blindness in the form of cataracts and who face many of the same barriers to surgery that those in Sichuan do. So, although it is our goal to provide 1 million cataract surgeries by 2020 in Sichuan Province, it is our ultimate goal to take the millions and millions of blind across the globe and change the way they see the world. The I-CCEW team would now be happy to answer any questions. Yes.
Do you feel that you're promoting communism by performing activities in China?
Yeah, the question was regarding if we feel like we're promoting communism through this project.
I can go ahead and answer that. It would never be our intention to promote communism. What we feel that we're doing is going in and providing a valuable service while partnering with the current governments at a local level to offer a service that those governments have not been able to provide at this point.
Yes.
You talked about how currently the surgeons who are performing cataract surgery are performing a couple hundred, but the I-CCEW surgeons are going to be doing 3,000 a year. Are there any kind of negatives associated with doing so many more surgeries? Why are current surgeons not doing that many already?
Certainly. The question was with regard to why isn't this problem being addressed right now, and why we haven't already, doctors in Sichuan aren't tackling it already.
Okay, that's a great question, and my answer is to first clarify, the surgeons we're comparing to are fully trained ophthalmic surgeons, while the surgeons that work at I-CCEW are only trained to do cataract surgery. And it would be a really good thing to do 3,000 surgeries a year, because if they did not choose I-CCEW and enter our program, then they would still have about 9 years more left of training to go before they can perform cataract surgery. And doing cataract surgery for 2 years at I-CCEW will really prepare them to do other procedures.
Yes.
You're going to train people in 90 days to do cataract surgery?
Sir.
Is there a certification process that would allow a 90-day wonder to go into and do surgeries, or would there be limitations on allowing somebody to do that kind of a surgery in terms of regulatory authorities in Sichuan or in China?
Certainly, the question was with regard to, are there any processes in China that are going to prevent us from using this 90-day program? And I'd be happy to answer that. Project Vision's already in place in Hong Kong, and they have this 90-day program that they've been using for the past several years already. So we feel that with our partnership with them, it allows us to go through the legal processes that they've already gone through.
This has been a terrific team. Behind that presentation is an extremely rigorous business plan and a lot of work. There are many hours with late-night phone calls, setting up the supply chain, talking to these other partners, working with these other agencies to line up the funding. All I can say is Thank goodness for Skype, because my phone bill would have been huge.